right? Most people think like you only check raise two pair of sets. That's very, very old school poker. Okay. Right? People are betting their whole range here. So they're betting pocket fives, pocket sevens, pocket nines, king, queen, like all sorts of shit.
Welcome back to Make Nate Great. It's me, it's Faraz Jaka, and today we are learning about check raising from the big blind.
All right. So check raising from the big blind here. This is one of my favorite topics. Literally, this is the number one topic that students come back to me over and over again and are like, this completely changed my game. It's really easy to implement, it's super powerful, and most people are not doing this right. So let's get into it. 5-6 suited here, we call. Now, not every spot's going to be a check raise. Some of these are just check folds, some of them are check calls, but you do have the option to check raise, and I want to help you identify when we do it, when we don't. What are you doing here? Calling, folding, check raising. And if you ever are raising, say the size.
Well, here's the thing. We're in the check raise portion of the lesson, so I feel like you're going to say this is a check raise. I would not.
I've mixed in a bunch that are
Oh,
not
okay.
check raises. So like I said, don't assume everything's a check raise. Just use your judgment.
So we don't have like any immediate straight draws. We have the backdoor flush draw, but I mean, I guess we flat from the big blind, ace deuce suited, I guess ace eight off, but I mean, are we flop? Like, I probably fold here. I
Okay.
don't see the merit of the check
So
raise.
let's talk about your value check raises here first, because you mentioned like ace eight. So basically, you're check raising what, like two pairs here?
I guess we're flatting deuces out of the big blind. We're flatting weak aces, ace five off. Uh,
I mean, this deep, you're gonna have
we're
like
not,
you should be three betting ace queen, but not everyone does. So like you might have some ace queens, but definitely ace jack, ace 10, and any ace really,
yeah,
any ace except for ace king and ace queen. Maybe you don't have.
yeah. But are
Yeah.
we? So yeah, I guess in game I'm folding the 6-5, but we're check
Yeah.
raise
What are you check raising for value here?
two pairs and ace whatever we have.
Okay. What do you mean ace whatever you have? Like, are you check raising ace five? Are you check raising ace queen? Are you check raising?
Oh, I see. Well, if we're not three betting ace queen pre, then probably check raising ace queen. Yeah,
Okay, good. I would say most people are not check raising ace queen here, so I'm glad that's on your radar.
but ace
Uh,
queen's also like we would. It's like super hidden because like a lot of people are
yeah.
three betting ace queen
And
pre.
even ace jack here. So the big thing I want to talk about here is most people do not check raise bluff enough because they don't realize how wide you should be check raising for value, right? Most people think like you only check raise two pair of sets. That's very, very old school poker. Okay. Right? People are betting their whole range here. So they're betting pocket fives, pocket sevens, pocket nines, king, queen, like all sorts of shit. So because a lot of people are like, why would I check raise ace jack here? Like, I'm just going to scare away worse hands. But no, if you check raise here, he's going to peel. He's not just going to throw away kings. He's going to call once. He's going to call an eight. He's going to call all his weak aces. He's going to call king, queen of hearts. He's going to call king, jack of clubs. Like, if we actually pull it up on a solver and you visualize all the different hands he's going to call, it's a lot more than you think. So because I can represent a lot of those hands, I am going to mix in some hands. So the reason I check raise this is I have connectivity to the top and bottom straight draws, right? I could turn a three, I could turn a four, I could turn a seven, I could turn a nine, I could turn a spade, right? When you could rattle off that many cards that you could barrel on, then it becomes a decent check raise candidate. Also, just he has a lot of like, 10 jack off, queen jack off, like a lot of stuff I just get quick folds from here. So this is a little tricky one. Most people probably are not check raising this. Not the end of the world. And now, if I'm going to continue, I want to see some of those cards we just mentioned.
Hmm.
Is that going to be a good card to continue on? Nope. Not a big deal. I give up. And that's it. Not a big deal, right? I just risked, my check raise was small. I probably normally would have went like six. But here's another example. Like it doesn't need to work that often, right? Like let's say let's say I made it six, right? And there's 15 in the pot. So it's like I'm risking six divided by 15. So, if he already folds 40% of the time, I'm making money with like blank cards. Um, like your check raise doesn't have to work that often. I'm not trying to get him off an ace. I'm trying to get him off 10 jack offsuit. Like that's just the important thing to remember there. Let's go into another example here. So 5-6 off, we call from the big blind. He bets. Okay, so this time we actually have a pair. What are you doing here?
Colin.
Okay, call is fine, but I'd like to see you start mixing in some check raises here. And here's the reason.
Oh,
What's going
wait.
to happen?
Can I guess the reason?
Yes, go for it.
So we're in the big blind. So we have a bunch of connectivity, new word that I just learned, to the five and the three. Plus we have a pair. So we can make a lot of two pairs. We can turn a lot of straight cards. And at best he has, unless he, has fives, but we have the blocker to the five. So at best he has top pair right now, but we can turn a shit ton of stuff.
Mhm. Yeah, so I'd say the number one reason you're check raising here is for protection and
Oh,
equity realization. All right, so what does that mean? So majority of time when you check call here, the turn's gonna be an overcard. An ace, a queen, a jack, a 10. Now, no matter what he has, whether he even has it or not, he's gonna bet those cards, like almost always, because they're scare cards. So what happens here is when you check call, you get outdrawn a lot or you get bluffed. But either way, like you don't get to realize your equity. So the reason we want to mix in some check raises here is literally just to get queen jack out of there, just to get, 7-8 suited, 9-10 suited out of there. That's going to bluff us out of the pot. And then it's also nice to kind of have some board coverage, right? Like if a five comes, they don't see you having it. Um, and then I'm only doing this with my fives that have a backdoor straight draw. I'm not going to do this with Jack five. Now, why do you think I'm not doing it with Jack five, but I'm doing it with 5-6? And yes, there's a straight draw, right? That says we have the option to turn, like, let's say he calls, right? If I pick up equity here, like a deuce or a seven or something, now I have the option that I could make a big bet and get him off queens. Like he's not going to fold queens on the flop, but he'll fold it to a turn barrel. Queens, jacks, tens, a lot of those things. So one option for me is I get to bluff, turn my hand into a bluff. I get to decide if I want to do that or not. Um, the other thing I was asking here is why do you think you would rather do this with 5-6 and not jack five?
because a he could have king jack more times than you can have king jack, so a jack helps him more than it helps you.
It's related to that, but it's basically Jack 5 doesn't need as much protection, right? Because what you're worried about is when you check call here, if the turn is a 7, it sucks, an 8, it sucks, a 9, it sucks, a 10, it sucks, right? When you have a Jack, at least a Jack doesn't suck. And in a matter
Oh,
of fact, in a
wait,
matter,
I thought, sorry, can I back up?
yeah, I'm saying pretend you have Jack 5 here.
And that's worse than having 6-5,
It's
right?
not worse. It's just Jack 5
Oh, okay.
prefers the check call. Like, don't be check raising your Jack 5.
Got it.
Because because if a jack comes, he's going to try to bluff it and represent it. So it's actually great. Like when he has queen jack and you have jack five, you want to keep his queen jack into there. So
Got it.
basically what I'm saying is when you have 5-6, you need a little bit more protection. When you have jack five, you don't need as much protection because there's less overcards that bother you.
Got it.
Yep. So we check raise, he called. Turns a queen. Now is that one of those cards we want to keep barreling?
You tell me.
Well, you're in game. This just happened. What are you gonna do? 5-second countdown. Betting or checking? Five.
I don't like the cut of that card's jib.
So you're,
I'm checking.
yes, this is a check. It's simple. It's not that complicated, right? A lot
Well,
of people think like, a lot of people like they feel like, oh, like I check. The people think because they check raise, they have to like, have to keep my story and keep going. Like, no. Like if a two through seven comes, or maybe even an eight, you keep going.
I would say that's like the mental side of it where, oh, I already put all these chips into the pot. Now I want to win them.
Yeah, exactly, right? And you got to let go of that. Like this is not your card. Now, remember earlier we talked about like board coverage and mixing in a lot of different things. So we are going to have check raises where this does help us, and we could keep barreling on this card. Do you have any idea what's a bluff we could do on a flop where we could have kept betting here?
Where the queen is good for our range, you mean?
Yeah, we're just where in this scenario we can keep betting. Are there any scenarios where that could be the case?
Well,
Where we could bluff?
is it too obvious to say if we have a queen in our hand?
Um, yeah, I mean more bluffing, and it's not
Okay,
so
so
obvious. I'll,
like,
I'll I'll help you out here. But 10 Jack of
yeah, I was
Hearts.
gonna say like anything that turned like
So
a
so
straight
your
draw.
bluffs, your obvious bluffs are going to be like your gut shots, like maybe your 6 7. You could check raise 4 6 here, which is open ended. You could check raise ace deuce ace four, but then you want some stuff that kind of connects to the top card, like wraps around it or connects to it. So like Jack 10 suited is a great one. So when this card comes, I'm gonna give up with my like 6 7 bluff, but I get to keep going with my 10 Jack bluff. Also, if I had open ended here, like 4 6, I would keep bluffing there because that's a lot of equity. So you have options to keep bluffing on this card. Just this is not one of them. I'm just gonna check and hope he checks and we win at showdown. If he bets, I'm just throwing it away. Not a big deal. Not a big deal. Like we didn't lose that much, right? The idea is risking this five to kind of take down what's in the middle was better than all the times you're gonna check call and just bleed away a few big blinds. Okay. Okay, we call from the big blind facing a raise here. Call. He bets. What do you want to do?
So these are really tough spots. Um, I I'm just doing so much calling, but you're now have me on this check raise.
Yeah. You're gonna be check raising a lot more.
Yeah.
And you're gonna be very happy about it. I'm telling you, every single person comes back to me. Now you are going to get yourself in some weird turn spots because yeah, you haven't worked on them. And a lot of people avoid flatting from the big blind, avoid check raising because they're like, well, why would I do that if I'm just gonna like screw it up on the turn because I don't know how to play that. But how are you going to learn how to do that if you don't do it, right? You need to throw yourself in there and battle, figure it out, make mistakes, get feedback, and that's how you're going to learn how to do it. So you got to put yourself in uncomfortable spots. One of the biggest mistakes poker players do is they avoid uncomfortable spots. And you're never going to win if you do that.
Yeah.
It's not going to be easy. Your poker is tough. You get in hard, difficult spots that are mental exercises, and if you just avoid those, you're never going to win. So yeah, you could he sized up here, so you could fold, you could check raise. I mean, you could really do all options here. Like I'm not saying you need to always check raise this. Oh, it looks like I did just check fold.
Oh,
It's a mix.
well.
It's a mix. Turns an eight. He bets. I fold. But yeah, I could check raise it. I mean, he might have just had like Queen Jack of diamonds here, right?
Yeah.
So Queen Jack of diamonds wins, whereas if I check raise this flop, Queen Jack of diamonds folds.
That 4-3 spades is how I punted the main.
Hmm.
Or maybe it was clubs. But
Okay.
I think
So
spades.
here, go one more over here. Middle position raise. We called ace eight. He bets. Want to check call or check raise?
Toss in that check raise.
Okay. I'm a little mixed here. So we're deeper stacked. And when we're deeper, I kind of want to have the backdoor flush draw with it. So I would probably check raise ace eight of diamonds, ace eight of hearts, ace eight of spades. And I want to say I'm going to check call this one. No, I just check folded. That's, oh yeah, yeah, sorry. Brain fart. I thought we actually had a gut shot. Yeah, this is a check fold. If it was 6 7 10, we would of course continue. But yeah, here was just check folding. Um, yeah, and if we had the backdoor flush draw, I would check raise. So you just want a little bit more equity when you're this deep to check raise. Now, what are the bluffs we can choose from here? So the most obvious bluffs when you're check raising are the gut shots, some of your draws, and then the wrap around the top pair stuff. So what would be some of those wraparound stuff we could check raise with here?
So like 10-8.
That's like a gut shot, yeah.
Oh,
Wraps around the jack.
so like Queen 10.
Yes. And ideally Queen 10 of spades because we're deep. King 10, King 10 of clubs, or sorry, King 10 of diamonds, something with a backdoor flush draw. So Queen 10, King 10, maybe even King 9 of spades, right? These are
Oh,
the ones people don't think of.
if our ace 8 was hearts, diamonds, or spades, we're check calling or check raising.
Either one. Mix it up, You don't want to be predictable. It's just knowing what your options are. Now, you see how with this strategy, we have board coverage everywhere. If the turn's an ace, we have some ace eights in our range. Even ace five. I love check raising ace five of hearts here, right? So we have some aces if an ace turns. We have some kings if a king's turn because we check raise king nine and king eight. We have some queens because we're doing queen 10 suited. Right? If the turn comes a 10, a 9, an 8, a 5, a 4, we have those straight draws. It's like literally on the entire board, you're dangerous. Now, the average player, they're just check raising their two pair here and maybe some flush draws and they have a flush draw. And there's so many cards where you're like, they never have this, and you just punk them. That's not going to happen to you, Nate. You're going to be check raising monster now.